Jason, you want to come up and talk? We got a little bit of time here.
He's a former resident over
Okay.
here. Also, I'll come first.
Yeah, good.
When I approached you guys earlier this year,
Jason, introduce who you
Tell them
are,
how-
where you come from,
I'm
where you
Jason
live.
Cook, Boardman, Ohio, 29 Arlene Avenue. When I approached you guys, I think it was either March or April this year, about a tethering ordinance, it was specifically focused on addressing the need to protect dogs from being tethered outside. Somehow this has escalated into what I feel is a totally unrelated issue, and that's the number of animals that an individual owns. I spoke with Ms. Lauk since our last meeting, and she reaffirmed what I had said, that no, she did not say that she was in support of any type of limiting the number of dogs that an individual owns. This notion that you're saying that people, if they have 3 dogs, they're not going to tie their dogs outside, there's just no correlation there. And there are people that, I have friends that have 15 dogs, 11 dogs, 5 dogs. That has nothing to do with the fact that these dogs are being tethered outside. It has to do with owners. There can be owners that just have 1 dog, and they tether the dog outside and treat it inhumanely. That was the purpose of this ordinance. And I can't stand in support of what I just see that you want to have as a first reading at your next meeting. And I strongly encourage this to go back to the legislative committee. And the other thing is, you know, somebody mentioned about Youngstown, 3-dog limit. Well, it's actually 3 dogs per lot. So if a person lives on a double lot, they actually can have 6 dogs. So, I mean, we should be really careful if you're going to model something from Youngstown. And another thing is, it's not enforced. And then, I'm reading this language here, you're talking about confiscating animals from a person's home and putting the onus on those animals to a shelter or a humane society or pound that's already overflowing with dogs. So you're going after the wrong people. And
Can I interrupt? Because all of council is not aware of this legislation that you're talking about, so you're kind of jumping the gun here. This hasn't been introduced to council yet. It's only gone through the legislation committee. There's a pass out of the proposed ordinance in front of you now. Just so council can, they really won't understand what you're talking about. Legislation met and reviewed the tethering law, and we basically took your recommendation and cut and pasted it, and it's pretty much identical to what you recommend. Then Bob had brought up that maybe we should think about limiting the number of animals per residence. So the legislation committee agreed on that, and we wrote that into the legislation. This legislation went to Anthony to review. He suggested that we totally separate the two so that it's understood that one has nothing to do with the other, which you're saying they're tied together. They are not tied together. They're 2 entirely different situations.
I'm saying
so
that.
So let me finish so the council can understand. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this to 2 separate ordinances. It'll come before council at the next meeting for 3 readings, 2 separate ordinances. So it'll be up to you to determine how you feel about that.
And what I'm saying is, at the last meeting, it was explicitly stated that, you know, if people have less dogs, they're not going to tether them outside. So when I say that they are related, they may not be related on this proposed ordinance that you have, but in the mindset from what I got from the last meeting, it is. And I think it is.
Not in my mind.
Okay.
One has nothing to do with the other.
And then, so that's all I have to say, that I can't support an ordinance that limits the number of dogs an individual owns.
Now, you live in Boardman, right?
That's correct.
And people would be grandfathered here in the village if they had more than 3 dogs right now, so
That is correct.
nobody's going to be affected right now.
But they are in the future. I mean, animals pass away. I mean, you could be talking about a family that has maybe 5 senior dogs, and they lose 3 senior dogs. Are you going to tell them that they can't now go adopt, you know, 3 more shelter dogs? I mean, this is a huge mistake. I mean, and the legalities of confiscating somebody's animal.
We're not confiscating anybody.
It states in that. It states in that.
That's if they're in violation.
That's
We're not
what-
going around counting dogs and taking dogs out of people's houses.
I just think
They're
it's...
grandfathered in. Did you understand what that means?
I know what grandfathered in means, but I also understand that once they drop below that, then, you know, they can't go back up. And then, so I'm not in support of it, and I don't think the Humane Society is, I don't think the Dog Pound is.
Well, the village will be acting on it. The people will come in and give their opinion, who live in the village.
And there is somebody here
If I
today
may,
that does.
I'm
Oh.
sorry, I still have a question. Why do you think the Humane Society is not in support of this?
Because she stated it when Mary Locke was here. And she stated there's no correlation
She
between...
did say it, actually.
No,
There's a
Mr. Lehman,
correlation
she did
between
not.
dogs and tethering.
We could have her back, actually. We could ask her more questions in addition. We don't have the capacity to help out a homeowner if there is a village violation regarding animals. In any village in Mahoning County, the Mahoning County Dog Pound would get involved. Now, the plus side is you worked really hard to introduce some of this language.
The tethering aspect.
We listened to all of it and wanted to make some progress. There are ordinances on our books now which would support the humane treatment of animals. We have that already. But this is backing that up. So this is more than there had been in the past. And if
Absolutely.
you understand, if you can try to look at it as two separate ordinances, that may help your thinking, because sometimes you have to give a little when you're trying to get something. So,
And unfortunately, I mean, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I stand by what I do, and I'm all for what you did with the tethering. I'm very thankful, but I'm saying it is a mistake if you're going to try to limit the number of animals that a person owns.
well, that is heard. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Sir, you want to speak?
I would like to speak.
Tell us who you are and where you live.
Dave McElroy, I live at 21 Riverside Drive. I'm the owner of 5 little dogs, total weight less than 60 pounds. But I'm a big animal person. I have a couple of cats, I've got 3 parrots. Most of my dogs are phenomenal animals. And to pass an ordinance like this, I will tell you I'll be present at your next meeting, and I will be there with my attorney. I will fight you tooth and nail on this. I will take it to the community, and I will start a discussion, because it's unnecessary. And what the young man is saying, not that I can really care less, but if anyone threatens to take one of my dogs, the for sale sign is going to go on my house. It's going to go on the 27 Riverside, which I also own. It's going to go on a condo that I own over there, and I'll move my family out of this area.
If Jason gave you the impression that somebody was going to take your dogs, he's...
And I read the paperwork. I read your law, and it says any dog...
You're grandfathered in, we can't...
Okay, I'm grandfathered in unless one of my dogs die. I'm grandfathered in unless, we do adopt little dogs that require care. And unfortunately, there's too many people that are totally irresponsible. And if somebody wasn't responsible in helping out, then these dogs are going to be put down for nothing that they did. A little bit like abortion. And I don't like it, I don't tolerate it. Allow people, as long as they are taking care of their animals and are no nuisance to their neighbors, then no one should be objecting. There shouldn't be an ordinance written in. I've never had any complaints from my dogs. I'm sure you could check with our chief and he'll tell you the same thing. So, I mean, you're going to get a fight on your hands on this because our people are passionate about this. And his ordinance is a good ordinance because I know people that have tied their dogs out in the winter and don't care about them, and those kind of people are the ones you should be after, not the 6-dog owner who takes good care of his animals. It's 2 different matters.
Mr. McElroy, do you like the part about the tethering?
I love the part about the tethering because I object so much to, don't buy a dog and it's a puppy and you find out after it grows up it's a dog, and then you tie it up in the backyard and you occasionally give it water and once in a while a little food. That's baloney. Those kind of people should be they should be tied up and see what it's like. So I'm passionate about dogs, and I'm not happy with this. If one of my dogs dies, I want to get another one. If some little guy that comes along that has been tortured, he's been put into a cage since he was born and he needs a home, I want to give him that home. Now, we're very careful because as a human being, you only have so much time. You can't take care of too many animals. But that shouldn't be written out as long as I cause no problem to the community.
How many dogs do you think somebody should be allowed? A limit?
Oh, I think there should be a limit.
What is the limit?
I don't know. 6, 8. Depends on size. You might think about it in terms of weight. You know, the little teeny tiny dogs, it's a whole different situation, like me. Like they range from 5 to 14 pounds.
What kind are they?
I've got a Chihuahua. I've got 3 what's called Mickeys. And then I have a Chihuahua Jack Russell mix. So,
Spirited.
yeah, they're
Leader of the group, right?
no, there's a 6.5 pound Mickey that is the leader of the group. He's the boss. So anyway, that's my plea, and we'll see what's going to happen. I will be at the next meeting. I will have my attorney present. So, just so you know,
This is just not even a first reading.
Huh?
This is not even a first reading.
It's not even a first reading. Okay, well,
So are
I'm
you
overreacting. But
No,
Are you
no,
threatening
No,
to sue
this is
us?
good.
what's
Are
happening?
you threatening to sue us?
No, nothing's happened yet. I'm saying that I will fight whatever it takes to stop it. So if you pass it, I'll sue you. So you know, because I will. Just like I won't let you build condominiums on a 2-plex lot. I won't let you do this without a fight. So I will be here as my attorney. And I don't mean that as a threat. It's not a threat.
It's actual.
It's actual. It's a promise. I just want it stopped. I just don't want it to come to that. And I do think you should have an amount. I don't know what the amount is. Put together a suggestion. I say 8. 8 is enough. And then 8 would be limited to the size of the dog. I don't think a single individual can handle 8 dogs in a conventional lot that weighs 50 pounds or more. You can't. So, you have to think about that as well. Put a size limit in it. Small dogs that they're keeping inside, it's not a nuisance to their neighbors, I don't see an issue. If it's big dogs, it's going to be. You can't put 8 dogs in a yard and it not be a nuisance. So that's part of the other thing. I'll have my attorney drawing up something and make a presentation. How's that?
Okay, I got a question. How do we control the barking? We got something about that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, how do we control?
How do you control the barking?
You have small dogs.
I have small dogs, number 1, and number 2, they're in the house 99% of the time. But it would apply to me as it would to somebody else. The barking is not an issue of multiple dogs. The barking is an issue of a dog. It's the way it's been trained and whether the owner leaves it out in the yard while it's hungry and thirsty and nobody's paying attention to it.
There's provisions in our code already about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's how you control that. I mean, that should be the chief enforcing the noise ordinance, no different than the guy playing the radio too loud.
Okay, how about cleaning up the debris after the dogs?
Well,
That's where the neighbors could come in, in the
I think the
summertime.
neighbors should,
In the summertime.
that's part of what owning a dog is,
Removal of animal waste, 61816, it's already covered in our code.
Yeah, so that should be done. I mean, people should do that. If you look around our neighborhood streets, you see a lot of dog owners, and most of the time they got a little baggie in there. Now, the ones that don't, put an ordinance in that if they're not picking it up, and maybe you have that in there, because I haven't read the detail, then they should be fined for it. I'm all for that too. You won't find it except in my backyard. I only clean up once a week, but it's in my yard and not anyplace else. When I take off with my dogs, I always have a bunch of clean, it's just a little, and I always have one of those on, and most good dog owners do. We're responsible. We're just not going to let that happen.
What do you think about a dog owners club in Poland?
I think it's a great idea.
See, he's on my side, guys.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. You look how many-
Because what?
Because we have so many dogs, and if you get an organization together and people talk about the issues and what we don't want to do and how we don't want to get in trouble with our neighbors, so they want to limit us, that's what we should do. I think it's a great idea.
What was her
You
suggestion?
started, I'll join.
Dog Owners Club.
A dog owners.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you started, I'll join.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your
Well,
passion.
that's what I
Thank you so
think.
much for your input.